Thank you, Ma. Yes, Mataji, over to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Screen is visible?
Yes, Mataji.
Awesome. एक minute. Okay. So Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining this evening session. And like Jagannath Gopal Prabhu said, that today again we are going to continue talking about 26 qualities of a Vaishnava. So before starting, I would like to offer my gratitude to the Vaishnavas from where I gathered everything to speak. So it's all going to be repeated. So I offer my gratitude to Her Grace Madhuri Chandrika Mataji, who wrote the book Vedic Vaishnavi, and I got a few details from that book. And I also heard um, lectures of His Holiness Bhakti Ashray Vaishnava Swami Maharaj, and and I also tried to read Satsuru Goswami Maharaj's book 26 Qualities of a Devotee, um, because of which I was able to understand a bit better about this quality, meekness. And of course, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, by hearing his lectures, I tried to understand the mood so that I can deliver something in front of all of you. So I'm seeking blessings from each one of you of Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada, that I can speak something meaningful. So yeah, really grateful to all the Vaishnavas. Uh, So yes, today we are going to discuss about one of the qualities of a Vaishnava, that is meekness, meek. And the meaning of meek that I could find on the internet is that a person is very mild, is very moderate, humble, or submissive quality, which is often misunderstood as a weakness or timidity. So, in this world, if someone calls you meek, it means you are weak. It means you are a doormat, or someone who is quite fearful, or someone who can't fight back. But in Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, meekness is listed as one of the 26 primary qualities of a Vaishnava. So, why is this meekness word there? What is the meaning of meekness? So, what is true meekness? So, true meekness is not about it's not weakness. It's not about being a doormat. True meekness is simple. It's simply a state of being so internally satisfied that the world can no longer trigger you, and to understand how someone can be completely gentle, very patient, and one who is impossible to offend. We have to look at the secret fuel behind it. And the fuel is a quality called aniha. So, aniha simply means who is indifferent to material acquisitions. So, in more simpler words, we can say that one who is completely satisfied with what you have. So, if we break down this word aniha, a and iha. A means not or without, and iha means a desire, a wish. Yes, a desire or a wish. So when we say that, uh, when we say aniha, it means someone who is indifferent to material acquisitions. So it doesn't mean this material acquisitions, it doesn't mean money. It doesn't mean just kanaka. It also means uh, that person is indifferent from kamini, which is bodily pleasures or comfort, and also pratishtha, which means prestige, fame, position. So that's how a meek person is aniha. So when these things, Kanaka, Kamini, Pratishtha, are stripped away from them, they do not retaliate. They don't retaliate, and it doesn't mutate into bitterness, or that person doesn't spiral into depression. So, to understand how a devotee can remain undisturbed when things are taken away, we can we can take a look at a very simple realization which is mentioned in Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita, which Srila Prabhupada's father used to tell Srila Prabhupada. So it is that if Krishna is giving with his 10 hands, how much can we hold with these two hands? And Krishna is taking away with his 10 hands, then how much can we hold with our these two hands? So this simple realization, it completely changes our relationship with this world. And true aniha means that adopting a mindset of a caretaker, not an owner. So being aniha doesn't mean that that a devotee must live in poverty, or reject all the technology and everything and just hide away in some small cave and live his life. So a devotee might use many expensive things. Um, eh, he can have incredibly expensive or material things, but the difference is they utilize everything in the service of the Lord without being attached to it or without hankering around it. So again, on this point, there is a small pastime of Srila Prabhupada that I would like to share, which is regarding this point. So once Srila Prabhupada's disciple, he got some interview or some report, and they were speaking about some Swami who had uh, made one statement that he'll not touch money and he'll stay away from money. And there was a picture of that Swami, which was showing that that Swami is rejecting the money. He's rejecting money and he doesn't want money at all. He doesn't want to touch money. So after hearing this, Srila Prabhupada told his disciples that go get a lot of money and I'll embrace that money and take a picture of me with that money. And he was telling all his disciples that. So after hearing this, does this mean that Srila Prabhupada is attached to money? No, it's very clear that Srila Prabhupada is on that Aniha platform where he just wants to use everything in the service of the Lord. So, this was one short pastime. So, moving ahead, I just wanted to ask you a very small question that do you know any of the devotees of the Lord who are indifferent to material acquisitions?
You are really go to think of it. Yeah, Anupul says Prahlad Maharaj. That's a great example. Indifferent to material acquisitions. Hmm.
Yes, Prahlad Maharaj, Maharaj Janak, How Maharaj Janak? Can you shed some light, Mataji?
So Maharaj Janak had everything. He was a king, right? But he was still not attached to the material uh, things. So I would think that he was not attached to material things, but he had everything around him. He was obviously king. Kings are supposed to have everything material.
Yeah. Okay. Any more examples?
Maybe Yudhishthir Maharaj,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
because
How?
in the sense that he was so dharmic that he he didn't want I don't know I may be wrong in saying that he did not want the kingdom, but he was detached in the sense that he wanted to do whatever is good for, dharmically good, not
Hmm.
being attached to any acquisitions like that.
Okay.
Nupur said Vidura, that's also a great example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Good. Thank you. So now we are going to start the class. Actually, I was just trying to set set a mood that what's the meaning of meekness and aniha. So now we'll start. Let's start with Mangalacharan prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुधापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तु ते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। मूकं करोति वाञ्छालं पङ्गुं लङ्घायते पर्वते गिरिं तव कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणम् परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम् जय। So now let's start. We have discussed that who all are the devotees of the Lord who were indifferent to material acquisitions. So we'll start uh, with whom I have selected as a person to whom I feel that is meek and is aniha is Mother Suniti. So we will discuss about Mother Suniti, who was the mother of Dhruva Maharaj. So she was the wife of Maharaj Uttanapad, and Maharaj Uttanapad was the son of Swayambhuva Manu and Shatrupa. So Maharaj Uttanapad had two wives, two queens, Suniti and Suruchi. So by their names, you can guess their nature. Suniti, she was endowed with noble qualities such as she was very obedient, she was possessing high character, and she was devoted to her husband. And she was very gentle in nature, very tolerant, and very patient. And she was not only the elder queen of the king, but she was also superior in character and disposition. Whereas Suruchi, you can see Ruchi, she had Ruchi, as in she liked to look beautiful at all times. She was spending all her time looking at herself, looking beautiful, etc. So now, as a younger queen, Suruchi, she was very beautiful. And Maharaj Uttanapad was very much captivated by her beauty, and that's why he married Suruchi. And Suruchi, by nature, she was very, very envious, and she was very cunning. But Maharaj's attraction towards Suruchi was greater because he was under the influence of the lustful attraction, and he would just ignore her behavior, and he was just attracted to his to Suruchi's beauty. And she also harbored a lot of malice towards Suniti, who was the elder queen, and she did not want Maharaj to give even the slightest importance to her. But Suniti, being, older in age and maturity, Maharaj would keep her by his side during all the rituals, all the sacrifices or yagyas that would happen in the palace. And when this used to happen, Suruchi, it was very unbearable for Suruchi. She wanted to just get rid of Suniti. She wanted to banish Suniti from the royal palace, and she adopted many strategies to banish her. And through her sweet words, Suruchi, she completely brought Maharaj Uttanapad under her control. She caught her in her words, and Maharaj Uttanapad, he expelled Suniti from the palace. And Suniti at that time, she had tiny child in her lap, Dhruva, and she was abandoned by her husband. And Suniti, she began searching for a place to live along with her son Dhruva. And while searching, she reached an ashram of Maharishi Atri on the banks of Yamuna River, which was near the capital of Maharaj Uttanapad. And when she reached his ashram, she narrated the entire story to him. So Maharishi Atri, he gave her a place to stay in his ashram, and she started living her life like a sage. So see how from a queen she transformed into a sage, and how she was living in a palace, now she's living in a small ashram, small hut, and she followed all the rules and regulations very nicely, and her life became very regulated. She dedicated her mind in upbringing of her son Dhruva, and she also served the sages. And while growing up, also, as Dhruva was growing up with all the Rishi Kumars, uh, he started to become a very mature boy. So now here Dhruva reached the age of 5. And one day, after obtaining permission from his mother, he went to the capital of Maharaj Uttanapad with all his Rishi Kumar, all his friends, Gurukula friends, to see his father. And in that palace, when he reached, so Maharaj Uttanapad came towards all the Rishi Kumaras, and he paid respects to all the Rishi Kumaras and received their blessings. And Dhruva bowed in front of his father's feet. And Maharaj Uttanpad was astonished that, oh, my son has become so radiant. He's he's shining like a gem. And when he saw his son, his love for his son swelled up, and he just he got off from his throne, and he was just trying to pick Dhruva up so that he can place Dhruva on his lap. And when Maharaj got up from his throne, he was very fearful that, oh, what if Suruchi watches me picking Dhruva up? What will she think? And in terms of age, Dhruva was little older than Suruchi's son, Uttam, and of course he was the rightful heir of the kingdom. But however, Suruchi wanted her own son, Uttam, to be the successor. So she had an intense desire that she always wanted to keep Dhruva away from Maharaj, and only Uttam is there on the lap of Maharaj Uttanpad. So, so even though Maharaj was trying to lift Dhruva up, but he couldn't because of the fear. And on the side, Suruchi was looking at the entire scenario, and out of uh, out of envy. Uh, so before that, when all these things are happening, so Dhruva, he saw that his father wants to pick him up, but Dhruva also wanted to go to his father's lap, because he saw that Uttam is sitting on his father's lap. So he tried to go to his father, but Suruchi, out of envy, she spoke to Dhruva in such harsh words. So now we'll see what Suruchi says to Dhruva. So I need one volunteer to speak on behalf of Suruchi. Can someone read? Um,
I can go.
okay, Prabhu.
I can't bring out the voice of a lady, but
I can go, it's okay अगर चाहिए तो.
yeah, Saraswati, you go. It brings more.
Okay.
Yeah.
My dear child, you do not deserve to sit on the throne or on the lap of the king. Surely you are also the son of the king. But because you did not take your birth from my womb, you are not qualified to sit on your father's lap. My dear child, you are unaware that you were born not of my womb, but of another woman. Therefore, you should know that your attempt is doomed to failure. You are trying to fulfill a desire which is impossible to fulfill. If you at all desire to rise to the throne of the king, then you have to undergo severe austerities. First of all, you must satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan. And then, when you are favored by him, because of such worship, you shall have to take your next birth from my womb.
Thank you, Saraswati. So, in this manner, Suruchi insulted Dhruva with such sarcastic words, and Maharaj Uttanpad was also seeing whatever is happening, and he could not oppose it either. And even the Rishi Kumars, all the sages, children, they were stunned when they heard these words were coming out of Suruchi. And upon hearing this, Dhruva's eyes turned red with anger. In Bhagavatam, it's mentioned that just as a snake is struck by a stick and he hisses, so Dhruva's body began to tremble and he started breathing so heavily and he why? Because he was hurt by the bitter words of his stepmother. And he also believed that his father would protest against this insult, what Suruchi is saying to me. But his father remained silent. He didn't say anything at all. And seeing this, he immediately left that place and he came running to his mother, Suniti. And out of anger, he was so much in anger uh, that he ran so fast he did not even look back once to see whether all his Rishi Kumar friends were following him or not. He was running that fast towards his mother. And when he reached his mother, he was trembling and his lips were quivering with rage, and he was crying incessantly. And Mother Suniti, she immediately took her son into her lap, and Dhruva, he just hid his face in mother's lap and he was crying. And by the time Rishi Kumars also came back, and they told Suniti that what exactly happened. And when she heard all of that, the insult of her son was very much unbearable for Suniti. And in Bhagavatam, it's mentioned that just as leaves are burnt when fire breaks out, she too became like a burnt leaf. And Suruchi's bitter words pierced her heart like arrows. And she was also breathing very fastly, and her lotus-like face was filled with tears, and she was crying to her son, and she started speaking to her son. So again, now I need a volunteer to speak on the behalf of Mother Suniti. So can someone read? Someone volunteer?
I can go if no one else.
Thank you, Saraswati.
My dear son, don't wish for anything inauspicious for others. Anyone who inflicts pain upon others suffers himself from that pain. My dear boy, whatever has been spoken by Suruchi is so because the king, your father, does not consider me his wife or even his maidservant. He feels ashamed to accept me. Therefore, it is a fact that you have taken birth from the womb of an unfortunate woman, and by being fed from her breast, you have grown up. My dear boy, whatever has been spoken by Suruchi, your stepmother, although very harsh to hear, is factual. Therefore, if you desire at all to sit on the same throne as your stepbrother, Uttama, then give up your envious attitude and immediately try to execute the instructions of your stepmother. Without further delay, you must engage yourself in worshipping the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is so great that simply by worshipping his lotus feet, your great grandfather, Lord Brahma, acquired the necessary qualifications to create this universe. Although he is unborn and is the chief of all living creatures, he is situated in that exalted post because of the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whom even great yogis worship by controlling the mind and regulating the life air, prana. Your grandfather, Swayambhu Manu, executed great sacrifices with distribution of charity, and thereby, with unflinching faith and devotion, he worshipped and satisfied the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By acting in that way, he achieved the greatest success in material happiness and afterward achieved liberation, which is impossible to obtain by worshipping the demigods. My dear boy, you also should take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is very kind to his devotees. Persons seeking liberation from the cycle of birth and death always take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord in devotional service, becoming purified by executing your allotted occupation. Just situate the Supreme Personality of Godhead in your heart without deviating for a moment. Engage always in his service. You came to me crying, having been insulted by your stepmother, but I am unable to do any good for you. But Krishna is so kind to his devotees that if you go to him, then the combined kindness of millions of mothers like me will be surpassed by his affection and tender dealings. When everyone else fails to mitigate one's misery, Krishna is able to help the devotee. My dear Dhruva, as far as I am concerned, I do not find anyone who can mitigate your distress but the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose eyes are like lotus petals. Many demigods, such as Lord Brahma, seek the pleasure of the goddess of fortune, but the goddess of fortune herself, with a lotus flower in her hand, is always ready to render service to the Supreme Lord.
Thank you, Saraswati.
Welcome.
So, hearing the instruction from his mother, a desire arose in Dhruva's heart to please the Lord. And touching his mother's feet, he said, "Mother, bless me. I will go to the forest. By leading a life of austerity, I will please the Lord." And then this tiny 5-year-old child goes to the forest, which was dark, full of wild animals, very, very dangerous place, just to perform austerities. And Suniti, Mother Suniti, blessed him to go. She was fearful, but she had full faith that the Lord protects his surrendered devotees in every possible way. And on his way, Dhruva meets Narad Muni, who tries to test his resolve by telling him that, "Oh, Dhruva, you are so young, and you are so young for the brutal path of yoga." Because in Sati Yoga, austerity is done in the form of Ashtanga Yoga, and Dhruva is just a 5-year-old child. So Narad Muni told him that, "Go back to your palace, go back to your home, play with kids. Why are you doing all this? You're just a small kid." But Dhruva, he was driven by his stepmother's words and his mother's instructions, and he politely refuses to back down. And then Narad Muni, he was moved by his determination, and he initiates him and sends him to Madhuvan forest. And he told Dhruv Maharaj that all the things uh, that needs to be done, he told everything, that that would make his austerity successful. So you know it what all he tells Dhruv Maharaj. So I'm just brushing through the entire story. So Dhruva performs mind-boggling severe austerities, shifting from eating fruits every 3 days to dried leaves, and then to drinking water in every 9 days, then to breathing once in every 12 days, and then finally standing on one leg while completely stopping his breath. And then the cosmic pressure forces Lord Vishnu to appear before Dhruva. And then Dhruva feels ashamed of his initial material desires, um, uh, that all I've been wanting was these few pieces of glasses. And then upon seeing the Lord Vishnu blesses him with 36,000 years of righteous reign on earth, and his ultimate entry into his abode. And then when all these things happened, it was the time for Dhruva to return back home. And he returns as a very spiritual, radiant boy. And Maharaj Uttanapad, he spent so many months weeping in repentance after being corrected by Narad Muni. So uh, when Dhruv Maharaj, when Narad Muni met Dhruv Maharaj, then he also met Maharaj Uttanapad, and he was corrected by Narad Muni. And when he got to know that his son has came back from doing all his austerities from the forest, then he rushes out with Mother Suniti to meet him, and he goes to meet him in a palanquin. So at that time, when Suniti was heading towards the palanquin, she invited Suruchi and Uttama on his side of the palanquin, so that all of them can uh, like together meet Dhruva. But you see that all the heartbreak was there in Suruchi's heart, and Dhruva's heart was in Suniti's heart, and Dhruva's heart was because of Suruchi. And Suniti, being a great Vaishnava, she forgave Suruchi. Why? Because she was her well-wisher. She only wanted the best for her. So she invited Suruchi and she said, uh, "Come, let's meet Dhruva together." And when Suruchi uh, saw that how affectionate Suniti is, she completely transformed. Suruchi completely transformed. And before, when Dhruva went to the forest, she was able to see that um, how the entire kingdom was affected when Dhruva went to the forest. Everyone was affected. And when she saw that, she felt a lot of guilt in her heart. She thought that, what did I do? What did I do? Because of me, this 5-year boy who is such in a tender age has gone to the forest just to perform austerities because of me. So she was feeling a lot of guilt inside. And then after that, Dhruva came, and his father embraced him, and and he and Maharaj Uttanapad could see that Dhruv Maharaj is a whole different person. He could feel that his son has become a Paramhams, a self-realized soul. And when he embraced him, Maharaj's hair, they were standing on end, and Maharaj was weeping, and he was very happy that, oh, finally his son has come back. And when when Dhruva sees Maharaj Uttanapad, he immediately falls at his father's feet, and he takes the dust and he puts his puts the sand on his head, and uh, and then Dhruva sees Suruchi, the queen who blasted his heart, but he approached Suruchi with tears of affection. And then after that, Dhruva met Uttam, his younger stepbrother. And when he saw his brother, he embraced him. And from a little far away, Suniti was watching everything. And after all this, she approached Dhruva and she also embraced him. And when she embraced him, she bathed him completely with her tears, with her motherly affection in the form of her milk. So Srila Prabhupada explains that in Janmashtami or in Narsingha Chaturdashi or in similar festivals where we do Abhishek, where we bathe Krishna with milk and Panchamrit. So in this situation, Dhruva now, Krishna is manifesting himself truly in Dhruva's heart. So there was a Abhishek for Dhruva with the motherly love of Suniti in the form of her tears and her milk. Then after that, uh, Dhruva was brought to the palace, and when he came back, there was no resentment or any kind of negativity. Why? Because he transcended. He became everyone's well-wisher. And Bhagavad Gita tells that one of the symptoms when a person comes in contact with eternal soul and realizes that God's love in their heart, they see everything in a equal vision, be it a pebble, be it a stone, be it gold, that person sees it with equal vision. And then in the next verse, Krishna says that uh, when one goes beyond that, one sees friend, enemy, pious and sinner with equal vision. So Dhruva realized that uh, yes, Suruchi was envious, she was cruel, but because of her cruelty, he got to see Vishnu. So how Dhruva got so elevated? Of course, Lord is fully manifesting in his heart, but one more reason of this is because of his Path Pradarshika Guru, who was his mother. And how um, we'll go deeper into this. So let's come back to Aniha. So when we hear the word Aniha in difference to material acquisitions, it can sound almost impossible to comprehend. And we may think that how can someone live in this world and not be affected by it? How can someone live in this world like that? So to make this practical, make Aniha practical, we have to look at how we can utilize these 3 R's. So what are these 3 R's? It's restrict, respond, and restrain. So one by one, we'll go deeper into it. So what is restrict? So Suniti was the chief queen, but she was banished because her husband um, was infatuated with his second wife, Suruchi. And Suruchi insulted Dhruva. She gave Dhruva so much pain. And yet, Suniti successfully restricted all those massive external challenges from affecting her heart. And she also maintained her pure devotion. Even though Suruchi threw so much garbage at her, and Suniti tolerated it completely. In fact, her restriction was so absolute that at the very end of the story, when Dhruva returns, she completely forgives Suruchi. She holds no grudge at all, and she lovingly says that, "Oh, come, Suruchi, let's go meet Dhruva together." So she restricted the negativity from taking root in her soul. And next is respond. So in a situation when something happens, either of the two things happen. Either we react or we respond. So there is a massive difference between reacting and responding. A reaction is automatic, it's blind, and it's horizontal. It's from person to person. And a response is deliberate. It's conscious and it's vertical. It's from soul to God. We think and then we speak. And many times in emotionally intense moments, usually what we do is we react. And mostly the first reaction that comes is it's it's not a wisest reaction. And most damage in relationships happen because emotions speak faster than wisdom. So, how did Suniti respond to Dhruva? We'll see how she responded. Um, we already went through what Mother Suniti said to Dhruva. So we'll just kind of summarize it. What advices she gave to Dhruva. So there were three golden advices. Um, so firstly, we should listen to uh, what the other person is saying. We should empathize with it, and we should give an appropriate emotional support. And if we give appropriate emotional support at the right time, it helps strengthening relationships. So Mother Suniti empathized with Dhruva's feelings. And she not only she empathized, she also told some ways. Why she told some ways? It's not okay when if, for example, if me and my Prabhuji, if I'm crying and I go to my Prabhuji and he also starts crying and we both are crying for 5 hours, it doesn't help. So it will only increase negativity. So trying to divert the mind towards something positive makes the situation less painful and more hopeful. So yeah, we have to empathize, but we also have to grow beyond it. So the first piece of golden advice that Mother Suniti uh, gave was, "My dear son, do not wish for anything inauspicious for others." And what does this mean? This means, note it for that. If someone is throwing stones at you, I'll also throw stones at you. So there should not be tit for tat, and we should not wish ill for others. And the second one is that anyone who inflicts pain upon others suffers himself from that pain. So, on this point, again, I came across one pastime of Srila Prabhupada, so I'll share that. So, one time, someone came to Prabhupada and And he said that, Prabhupada, I'm doing so much. I'm doing so much of hard work, and no one feels like I'm doing anything. No one is acknowledging me for no one is acknowledging me that I'm doing so much work. And and there is one devotee who comes with a glass of water, and other people say that, oh, Haribol, 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 Prabhu, thank you for giving me the glass of water. And everyone is appreciating that person. Everyone is acknowledging that, and I'm doing much more service than a mere a glass of water, bringing a mere glass of water. I'm doing so much, and no one is acknowledging me. So Srila Prabhupada, he became he gave a very humorous answer, but um, he said that maybe in your previous lifetime you got a lot of credit for the services you did not do. Therefore, it's balancing out here. So, of course, Srila Prabhupada turns this situation in a humorous way. But the point here is that there is an another way to look at the perspective, because we can't change others, and we can't say that, oh, he's not giving me the credit, she's not giving me the credit. We can't change the person, but we can change ourselves. We can change our mindset, our outlook towards life, which will help us to be calm and composed. So what do you think from these two advices that Mother Suniti gave to Dhruva? You think that Dhruva was satisfied with these two advices? Do you think, can someone say, wait, yeah, can someone answer this question? Do you think that Dhruva was pacified by these two
No,
advices?
no. I mean, these two advice are very nice, but they still don't address what Dhruva wanted. So,
Yeah, correct. But yeah, he was very, very, very angry. Just like how it's mentioned in Bhagavatam. Again, I'm repeating it, that how a snake hisses when you beat him a stick. In pain, it hisses, and like that, he was very angry, and it did not work. Like these two pieces of advice did not work for him. So life, just a second. Yeah, so life situations are often not within our control, but our response to that situation is certainly in our control. And uh, and we cannot change how others will act towards us, but how we will respond in that situation, that will make the whole difference. And that's why all um, these shastras are helping us know how to appropriately respond to any situation. So so yes, these two advices didn't satisfy Dhruva. Why? Because he had a like towering Kshatriya ambition to conquer the throne, which was greater than his father's. And Suniti, she did not try to crush his ambition or tell him just, oh, Dhruva, just calm down. Just accept whatever is happening and just accept this poverty and let it go. No, she didn't do that. So here we, it's not, yeah. So here we see that in worldly meekness, if Suniti was in a worldly in this worldly format, she would have just patted Dhruva's head, and she would have said that, calm down, Dhruva, what's our situation, just accept whatever happened, swallow your pride and accept poverty. she could have just said that, but because she was a devotee, her meekness came from a place of devotion and intelligence. So Vaishnava doesn't give up material acquisitions because they are forced to. They give them up because they have acquired something which is greater. So as Srila Rupa Goswami writes in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmanavritam anukulyena krishnano shilanam bhakti uttama. So a devotee's heart is shunyam, it's empty of material desires only because it is completely Purnam, it's full of Krishna. So this is the spiritual heart of Aniha. And because Mother Suniti was a pure devotee, her meekness was laced with spiritual intelligence. So she recognized that Dhruva's identity is very fiery. He has that Kshatriya ambition. So she looked at Dhruva not through the eyes of a defeated victim. She looked at Dhruva through the eyes of a self-realized soul. And that's when she gave the third golden advice. She said, my dear boy, whatever has been spoken by Suruchi is so. Because the king, your father, does not consider me his wife or even his maid servant. Whatever has been spoken by Suruchi, your stepmother, although very harsh to hear, is factual. Therefore, if you desire at all to sit at, on the same throne as your stepbrother Uttam, then immediately try to execute the instructions of your stepmother. Without further delay, you must engage yourself in worshipping the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So you can see that she took out the positive from the negative thing that Suruchi told to Dhruva. So this is the honeybee mentality that uh, Mother Suniti showed. And that advice Dhruva took very seriously. This was the advice that Dhruva took to his heart, and he was on it. And then there comes the restraint. So think how Mother Suniti would be feeling. Dhruva is just 5 years old, and he went to the forest of Madhuban, which was full of wild animals, and it was a very dark forest. And Suniti has already lost her husband, all her wealth, her palace, everything, and her only emotional shelter is Dhruva, and he is her only joy. And naturally, a maternal instinct based on attachment would have cried out. She would have said that Dhruva, if you want to perform austerities, you can stay in the ashram and you can do that. You need not have to go to the forest and do severe austerities. I can feed you with some food also. You can stay here and do all kinds of activities. But Suniti restrained her maternal possessiveness. She, and in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that she placed a stone on her heart and she blessed him to go. So she can only do this because of her Aniha nature. And this made her realize that my son does not belong to me, he belongs to the Lord. So my concluding thoughts. So these 3 hours that we discussed, it doesn't help in becoming aniha. So these are just the methods to become sincere towards Krishna, so that he showers his grace upon us, and by his grace we can get this quality of aniha, this meekness. So my final concluding thoughts are, we can restrict our outer challenges if we follow our dharma, if we follow all the worldly duties, and we many workplace conflicts are there. If we restrict our outer challenges, we can become sincere, and then after restricting, how we can respond using our intelligence and sensitivity while dealing with others in such a way that pleases Krishna. And then we can restrain our inner temptations disguised as Kanaka, Kamini, and Pratishtha. So these were my concluding thoughts. Thank you. All glories to Mother Suniti, all glories to Dhruv Maharaj, and all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you for being patient. Yes.
Thank you, Mataji. This was beautiful. The way you started, gave a nice background, asked a question, and then you started with the actual class. And also all the examples that you gave, not only from the Shastras, but also from Prabhupada's life, the anecdotes, and also how nicely you narrated the whole story of Dhruva, Suniti, and Suruchi. So, yeah, Suniti is a very nice character. You can say she's like an unsung hero of the Bhagavatam. She's in the background, but she was the catalyst for the great devotion of Dhruva. I have a question about the restrict, respond, and restrain. That is a wonderful framework.
This
So,
I would like to interrupt you, Prabhu. So my Prabhuji helped me with this.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. That's fine. It's one and the same. So, my question to you is it sequential?
No, it's not.
Hmm.
It's not sequential. Even I had the same question. कि पहले restrict आता है, respond आता है, restrain आता है. So it depends on the situation. If yeah, it completely depends on the situation. If someone shouts at you, then then you can first restrict yourself. Restrict yourself as in, so now help me out.
No, you continue, Mataji. You should continue.
But he knows it very well. Yeah, sometimes we respond, sometimes we restrict first, and sometimes we restrain. Yeah. So it's not sequential, but yeah.
Mm.
Like Arjuna, yeah, he was supposed to restrict when he was fighting.
Yeah. Acha, you're coming? Acha, okay. Sorry, bro.
No, thank you, Mataji. Dear devotees, any other thoughts? Any other questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can I ask a question?
Sure,
Yes,
sure, sure.
yes.
Hari Bol Manjari, it was such a nice presentation, and like I really like the way you animated the entire. Every line of yours was like very animated. Like it was such a it was almost like you're visualizing the scene as it's happening. And actually, I've not heard a lot or like thought a lot about like Suniti, devotee Suniti's uh, point of view. So thank you for bringing that out. I just had like a reflection and a question. One is the first line that you talked about, Surichi, really struck me, which is she goes like, "Oh yeah, Dhruv, because you're not born out of me, go and pray to Supreme Personality of Godhead." So this actually reflects how a human who's in some spectrum of spiritual journey is, which is in some sense they have accepted supreme personality of Godhead as okay, like yeah, Krishna is finally everything, but at the same time we carry a lot of like unnecessary qualities in ourselves, such as like ego and things which we have not yet like let go of. We know that Krishna is everything and we need to be better, but these qualities still like pull us back. And I see Suniti as like a progression from that spectrum, where if we the more sadhana we do, the more we read, the more we surrender to Krishna, we will be able to like eventually also change. That to me, Suruchi just represented like a lot of like humans who are on their like respective spiritual journeys. And the second question, which is the second, first one was a reflection. The second question that I really have is, so in this case, right, like Suniti, I actually don't know in which yuga this happened, but Suniti,
Yoga.
Satya Yuga, okay. So to me, she's like completely nice and extremely tolerant. For me, based on my life experiences, I just feel like the more I tolerate, and the more I don't put boundaries, or the more I let people like make use of me, I only end up getting backstabbed and like actually like um being used, like end up being a doormat. So I feel like I'm just having this thought that I should not be tolerant. I should not do any tit for tat based on to your point, but at the same time I should be intelligent enough to like understand people for who they are, and whether they are good for my spiritual journey or for my life, and then really just like walk away. I was just wondering if that was a fair that was a fair thought process to like have, and wanted to know your thought.
Hmm. That is a very practical question. Yeah. Hmm. That is that is something to ponder upon.
Hmm.
Yeah. Hmm.
Because Krishna also says like Krishna is also like okay, like even in to Bhagavad Gita and Arjuna, like he's like, yeah, like you can't walk away becoming, I mean the context is different. He's trying to make Arjuna do karma yoga and eventually bhakti yoga, but yeah, like don't, yeah, stand up against Dhritarashtra's. They have insulted you, but stand up against them. Like this is what, these are my instructions, but you do what, you use your intelligence and you do you. Krishna also says that, but I don't want to like mix his words into a context that I don't completely understand. But for me, like just very just based on my life experiences and things, I was just curious about this.
Yeah, Lekha Mataji, just if I might, I think you have brought up a very practical point. So I had heard a story.
Uh-huh.
The story of there was a snake, and he was very furious. The children
Ah.
come to come to where he was living, and and he will bite them or hurt them. And then
Mm.
one day a saint passed by. He said that don't hurt children. So otherwise, you're earning karma, bad karma. So I said, okay, Guruji, I will not do that again. So he will come out and children will throw stones at him, hurt him. So
Ah.
he became so miserable. The next time then Guruji came, say the same sadhu came from there, he said, what happened to you? You're in a miserable
Mm.
situation. He said, you asked me not to do anything, not to respond. He said, I told you not to be violent, but I never told you not to hiss.
Ah.
Ah.
So I think, to protect yourself, don't hurt them, but hiss, so that they don't hurt you. So I think
Ah.
I would just do that. That if
Yeah.
try to hurt you, deviate you from the spiritual life, I would hiss at least. They put a stop. It's
Yeah.
not acceptable. You be happy, I'm happy, but don't cross this limit. So I really was like this story, and I try to adapt in my life.
Yeah, Mataji, that was amazing example, Mataji. Thank you very much. I think that, yes, that makes so much sense to me. Thank you for thank you for that. I'll always remember this.
Yeah. So Manjari Mataji, it was very, very good, very, very nice story, and I really enjoyed that. So just one comment. I know it happens in our lives also, that we don't like when people say harsh words to us, just like Suruchi said harsh words to Dhruva. But because of Suruchi, he obtained what was unachievable. He he asked for only sit in the lap of his bodily father, but instead, because of her harsh words, he took them seriously. He was able to, you know, got enlightened, and I was able to do sakshatkar of the Lord, which is many folds more achievement than just sitting on your father's lap. So I will give credit to Suruchi also here, and not just put her down, right? So Lord works in a different ways, right? Sometimes He comes in our lives through such people to direct us in a direction that we should be going. Just my I had a little experience also in my life. In the beginning, it was why this to me, but then after a few years, I look back and say, "Huh, that's why." You know,
Yes.
so Suruchi's role cannot be undermined.
Yeah, even Dhruv Maharaj, he also told that it's because of Mother Suruchi,
Right.
he was able to see Lord Vishnu.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The Lord, he was able to see the Lord and get blessings of the Lord. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gotten, if or at the most he would have gotten just the lap of his bodily father, right? So yeah, it's difficult to accept at that time when it happens to us, harsh experiences. But then after some time in our life, we realize that was the way to push us into that direction.
Yes. Thank you, Mother.
Very nice. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Yeah, I will appreciate how she prepared, and she has been preparing it for quite few days now and very absorbed, and yeah. And I would like to share few comments on what I think Lekha Mataji asked. And I also went through the like the same question few weeks ago. And I think this is some answer that I found out, Mataji. So what usually happens is everything starts with a desire or intention. And then with that intention, that let's say I get attracted towards spirituality. And with intention to go forward, then I seek inspiration. Like I would hear from Prabhupada, from devotees around me, hear more lectures. And with that right inspiration, slowly my intelligence starts developing. Like the knowledge builds up. And from that intelligence, integrity comes. Like what is right, what is wrong.
Hmm. Hmm.
And with that integrity, I decide to like, okay, now I have found something. Let me become more intensified. Then intensity comes. Some of us take initiation, we get into the process.
Hmm.
So this process happens. Now, what happens is in the deeper level that from the world of being, let's say, selfish, in this material world is very
Hmm.
selfish. You are out there for your own self. And
Hmm.
immediately we are made to jump into devotional world, which tells us to be selfless, to just give, and give.
Right.
So there is a huge gap. And now because we are in the stage of being intense devotion, we think we are already purified because we have grown a lot. But actually there is like an inorganic growth which didn't happen
Hmm.
at the heart level. So the gap
Hmm.
remains. And we can, even though we may think like, I'm impure, I need to be purified, but
Hmm.
because we did not make the jump with our, mind, ego from the world to devotion, so that purity cannot happen because the process of purity has to happen at the level of the senses, mind, and the ego.
Ah.
Right? So
Hmm.
from the
Hmm. Hmm.
selfishness to selflessness, there's a gap. So we need a bridge. So that bridge
Right.
is self-care. and and that comes when, even if you see the example of how Krishna told Arjuna,
Hmm.
so he first told Arjuna to see his identity as a soul, and then
Hmm.
reminded, and as soon as he says that you are a soul, he also says Kaunteya and Bharata, like he
Hmm.
reminds him
Hmm.
of his immediate identity. So when we come to devotion, we often lose our identity. You can call it
Hmm.
your nature, your dharma. Like
Hmm. Hmm.
someone can be a kshatriya, they want to.
Hmm. Hmm.
We become very renounced. So it's become very superficial. Therefore, we need
Correct.
self-care. We need, certain reflections and, mentors who can guide us and get us
Right.
to that organic growth. Because the world we say is, it is full of quarrel and hypocrisy. And in
Hmm.
devotion, we are asking like, okay, you become very selfless and filled with integrity.
Hmm.
But from selfishness to selflessness, you need self-care as a bridge. From hypocrisy to integrity, you need honesty as a bridge. And
Hmm.
for that bridge, we have to do the work. It cannot
Right.
happen without the work. And which is the tough
Right.
part because nobody speaks about it.
Hmm.
Everyone is,
Correct.
showing, like, okay, you are chanting, oh, very good, good seva. You are
Yeah.
being appreciated for something which you have been already doing, and no one is seeing what is happening internally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same like with how Suniti, right? So nobody knew as Jagannath was saying, she's like an unsung hero. No one knows about her because
Right.
all of her work is very internal.
Right. Right. Right.
So we have to fill up our heart first, take care of ourselves, be honest, then only we can give. Otherwise, we'll
Right.
be
Hmm.
like a doormat, or
Yeah.
we'll be guilty also, like, oh, I am selfish, I am not selfless, I am not giving.
Yeah. Guilt is a big thing. Yes.
Yeah, so that happens
Very.
when we are situated in our identity first, and then only we can elevate ourselves with properly taking care. So yeah, those are my few thoughts that I went through.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. I think that is extremely relatable and it makes perfect sense. And that is also some of my realization as well. So thank you for actually like confirming that for me. It makes absolute sense to me. Thank you so much. And to your point, yeah, I think those are some of that internal work that we have to do, something that doesn't get talked about a lot. I think
Mm.
Braj Bihari Prabhu and Chaitanya Chan Prabhu do a really, really good job of like, and even Keshav Swami Maharaj, they at least from whom I've listened to, they actually like talk a lot about this internal reflection, inner work, that bridges the gap. To your point, thank you so much, Prabhuji. That
Thank
helps a lot.
Amazing. Selfishness to selflessness, the bridge is self-care, and hypocrisy to integrity, the bridge is honesty. Beautiful. Yes, dear devotees. Any other thoughts or questions before we conclude for the day, for the night? Okay, if nothing, then let's wrap this up. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंतकोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हर ग्रेस मंजरी गोपी माता जी की जय। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna.